Hi guys, so this is my video about homework policy, and my homework policy is going to be based for a special education classroom, probably second, third grade, somewhere in that area. But before I talk about my policy, one of the things that I really took away from the articles was that homework is practice. So homework is the step you need to take in order to master a topic. So homework shouldn't be graded for accuracy in that case. So if we want kids to practice makes perfect, then it doesn't make sense for us to say, okay, this is worth 10 points and you're basically not going to get a good grade if you don't do it perfect. Whereas we want kids to come back with questions and say, hey, I didn't get this last night. How can I improve? How can I do it better? Instead of punishing them for trying it and just not knowing it. That being said, I do think that homework should relate to the lesson of the day. So they should have some idea. They shouldn't go home and have no clue or not know every single problem, but they're going to have questions. And to punish them and give them, 7 out of 10 for really trying and just truly not understanding, then that doesn't make any sense. We don't want to penalize them for that. So that video, the teacher we watched the other day who says, lots of times homework counts as 10% for your grade. But for the kids who already know the material and maybe just aren't doing their homework because they're bored, well, they're going to be punished. Their grade is going to be impacted even though they do know the material. So that would not be a proper reflection of what they do or don't know. Another thing is that if we count it as 10% and kids do really bad, that's also going to impact their grade. But maybe by the time they were done with the lesson, they did master it. They do know the material and their homework grade is going to be poor. So one of the teachers that I talked to, my aunt is actually an 8th grade English teacher. She works in Arizona in Gilbert, and she's been there for multiple years. She says she's tried lots of different things in her years teaching, but what she really sticks to is that in her syllabus, she writes she doesn't accept late work. She says for one reason, it's because she wants the kids to get used to when they go to the high school to being accountable for their work, but also because it's a lot of work for her to go through and keep track of if the students are continually not turning in their work in time. That being said, there's always that unspoken rule where if, a student was going to come up to her and tell her some sort of circumstance why they don't have their homework, she's understanding and she can rewrite her policy for that day or for that child specifically. She did say that her district has a rule about absence, that if for every day you're absent, you get 1 day to make up that work. But she switches it up in her classroom and just says, if you're gone, you have within the week to turn it in. So you have 1 week to turn in your materials, and that also extends to tests, which I think is a really kind of a cool policy that, okay, you were gone for your test, you have 1 week to come see me and make that up and schedule it. And because after that, they're probably not going to do it. That all being said and considered, I want to teach special education probably in the younger grades, so they're not going to get as much homework anyway. But one of the ideas I really like is for their homework to be revisited and revised. So they're not going to turn in a homework assignment and get a permanent grade for that day. I think that maybe throughout the week you have 1 homework assignment and we're going to revise and have questions every single time we come to class, and almost a lot of it's going to be done in class. So this was your homework, take it home, start on it, ask your parents for help, and then tomorrow we're going to work on it for a little bit, and then by Friday they should have that complete and done really well. And then it also is going to be more of a pass or fail grade scale. So lots of times in special ed the grades aren't going to be out of 100%, but rather proficient or not, or pass or fail kind of things. But in order for them to move on to a topic, they have to master the first one. So you might spend 2 weeks with one student on a work and not get that assignment done for 10 days. And you might have a student who in 3 days can move on to the next homework assignment, but instead of having it be worth points, I think it needs to be complete before they move on, and that's going to look very different for a lot of different kids. So yeah, those are my thoughts on homework. Hope everyone's having a good weekend.